I talked about a few days ago meta weapons and how the term meta, or just any gun in general that everybody tends to flock to and they call meta, they tend to think like that's like the gun that's going to define a player and it's going to make you a better player. That's true to a certain extent. But if you think meta weapons make you an unstoppable Call of Duty player, you might want to think again about that. So you might be stacking loadouts with the meta, but if your fundamentals are trash, then it doesn't matter what gun you use. You're never going to get saved by the meta. You're just not. You're not going to get saved by the meta. The first thing I want to talk about is skill always beats the meta. I don't care what gun you have. Skill always beats the meta. So the truth is, the difference between meta and non-meta guns is often just a few milliseconds in the time that it takes to kill, or TTK. If your aim is off and your movement is predictable, no gun in the world is going to be able to save you. None. If you're a good player, or just good players in general, they win gunfights because they read the play, not because the gun has slightly better stats. Does that make sense? It's the skill of the player, not the gun that player is using. It does help a little bit. It's your skill and how long and your reaction time and all these different things come into play. The gun itself is about half the battle. The rest is on the player. The second key thing I want to talk about is awareness, positioning, and game sense. Those things win matches. So if you could have the best loadout in the game, but if you peek corners like a bot, which a lot of people do, I see them all the time in Warzone. If you peek corners, you're pretty much running around like a bot on the map, or you run into open ground with no cover, which I'm guilty of doing. I run in open fields in Verdansk. I'm like, sometimes you hear me say, this is no good. Meta guns don't fix bad decision making. Okay, so let me get that through everybody's thought process. It's all about up here. It's about skill. Okay, and how quick you are to make decisions on the fly. Meta changes super fast. Meta weapons go from one gun to the next, and it happens fairly quickly. Your skill is permanent. A weapon dominates today, gets nerfed tomorrow, and you're back at square one, grinding another gun. But your skill, for that matter, that transfers no matter what kind of gun is in your hands. So most metas last anywhere between 6 to 16 weeks before they do a patch fix or they nerf the gun. How many times have you heard a player say, oh, it's nerfed, it's not as powerful? Now you got to find another one. Another thing you have to consider is weapon mastery. Mastering one weapon, knowing its recoil, its ADS speed, and its ideal range gives you more consistency than switching guns every week based on YouTube loadout trends. So how many people do you go on? Like how many times have you went on YouTube and tried to find a content creator who talks about the next big gun or the next big loadout or the next big weapon or the next build for a specific AR or SMG? See it all the time. I can think of 2 content creators right now that do it for their content on a regular basis. I can think of 2. They always tend to not tell you that your skill set is going to determine how well you're going to do with that particular weapon. Another thing you have to consider when you're talking about meta. Does anybody ever stop to think that skill-based matchmaking doesn't care what kind of gun you use? Does anybody tend to stop and think about that? Skill-based matchmaking. That's a hot topic in itself. A lot of people hate skill-based matchmaking because it puts you in sweaty ass lobbies. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't care about what type of gun you use. So skill-based matchmaking puts you in harder lobbies based on how you perform, not what you're holding in your hands. The system ranks your total kills and efficiency higher than your loadout. So if you're beaming with an off meta weapon, SBMM still bumps you up. So if you're dominating with one AR and you're going in there and you're just totally shitting on everybody in the lobby, the skill-based matchmaking is going to recognize that, and then it's going to put you the next lobby that you get put into. You're going to be playing skilled players that are just as good as you are, if not better. We see it all the time. Skill-based matchmaking is in Call of Duty, and it's probably not going anywhere. So that's something else to consider as SBMM. A lot of Warzone players will tell you that's been playing this for a long time. We call them veterans. Like if you're a veteran in anything, not just military veterans, God bless them, not just military veterans, but like just a veteran in gaming in general, playing a specific type of game for years and years and years, like Call of Duty, for example. Meta weapons help, but they don't make the player. That is true. If you're good, you can fry with just about anything. If you're bad, No meta loadout will fix that. When I see veterans, I'm talking about skilled Call of Duty players that's been playing the game since like the first Call of Duty. Or some players might not even think that's true because they just think the meta is going to be the end all be all to a certain extent. I don't believe in that, man. I just don't. And a lot of people disagree with me. And you could disagree with me all you want. It's my opinion. I'll f***ing say what I want. All right. You can disagree. Do you know how many times I have sat, not on stream, just like off stream, I have sat there and I have literally watched some of these content creators. I have watched them take an AR build that's meta right now that everybody's using. First of all, why do you want to be like everybody else? Create your own weapon and master it. Who gives a flying frog's fat ass what the meta is? If I'm using the PP 919 and someone else is using the Jackal, if I'm frying and cooking with the PP 919 versus somebody that's using the Jackal that might not be a skill with using that with that SMG, I'm gonna fry with it. You know, as long as I work on my craft, I work on my aiming, I work on my recoil control, I make sure my settings are right where they should be. Once you master that weapon, you move on. Go watch the CDL. They used it this year. It was the Ames 85, not because it's a badass AR, but they use it for a reason. And there are skilled AR players in the CDL, and they master that weapon. Same with the SMGs. They use the Jackal PD. They mastered that SMG, and they just got better at their recoil control, and they got better at just being good at the game. You know, there's so much more than just a meta. There's map awareness. There's rotations. There's map control. Knowing the spawns. Knowing how people are rotating. You know, if you're playing, Call of Duty or not Call of Duty, if you're playing multiplayer, rank play, you have to understand the mechanics of how that map is designed as far as like rotation and spawns, and the damn player makes meta guns great. I have literally taken an AR or an SMG and I have put the same attachments on those weapons, same optics, same barrel, same underbarrel, same stock, same everything, right? And I have tried to, I've put my settings to the T of what some of these players are considering the best settings in the game. And I've sat there and jumped in the lobbies, and I have tried to use that weapon, and I don't like it because it works for them. It's their build and what they think is the best build is that based on their opinion. Meta to me is just like a popular weapon that everybody's using. That's it. It's just a fad until Activision goes in there or Call of Duty goes in there and nerfs the gun, and then everybody quits using it. Why quit using it? Because something else is more powerful? So what? If you suck at the game, it doesn't matter. So get better at you. If you're terrible at aiming, then it doesn't matter what gun you use, because your aiming is off, your timing is off, your skill set is off when it comes to how you shoot your weapon. Work on your craft, work on the way you aim, the way your settings are, and just your reflexes of how quick you are to move and slide cancel and do all these things. So there's so much more than just using a meta weapon. And you know what? A lot of players understand that. They do. They just want to get because there are players out there that doesn't matter what gun they use, they're good at it. Pick a weapon, master it, and then when you get better, and then that's how you get better with that weapon. That's how you get better. You just become better as a player. The next time somebody tells you this is the meta, this is the gun that everybody's using with these attachments, that is based on opinion, popular opinion. So don't rely on those guns. Pick a gun that's going to work for you and master it. And that's it.